So we've got 2-inch.
2-inch lens. Okay. Now, any guesses as to why it's called the 2-inch lens?
Is it because of the cradle?
No, because that's no part of that is 2 inches.
The focus.
It's the focal length. Yeah.
The focus length.
The material's got to be 2 inches away from the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the way that you clean this is you take your cotton wool bud, and what we're going to do is basically you're going to be doing a centre spiralling out from the middle, okay, with some fluid. So from the centre, spiralling out. Okay, once you're happy, turn it over and do the other side. You notice I use different parts of the same cotton bud. Okay, now this will only fit correctly in one place. You'll notice how it's beveled.
Yeah.
There and there, okay? It will only fit correctly above the 2 thumbscrew holes. Just so thumbscrew hole, only fits correctly above them. I have, in the past, seen somebody somehow jam that lens into this gap here, and then they were very annoyed because every cut was out of focus. Everything was wide cut. So, loosen that off and spin it around. Can I just quickly ask you, please, on the control panel, can you press and hold the thick, no, on the control panel laser, the thick down arrow, no, on the right, there you go, the big black one.
Move the bed down a bit.
Yes, please. Good. Okay, so, because it's a 2-inch lens, we need to make sure the bed is autofocus. Now the autofocus also needs to be cleaned. Okay? That's this probe on the right hand side. This is the one time I disagree with the manual. The manual says clean it once a week. I say if you've used it that day, clean it that day. Okay? Because all you've got to do is make sure the probe itself is clean, action it, and give it a quarter turn, and action, quarter turn, action. Just keep doing that, just a quarter turn and an action. That makes sure it's nice and free and clean. Okay? If it's gunked up, if it's jammed, it won't move properly. Okay? If it's bent, it won't move properly. As soon as it's bent, your only option is to replace it. If it's just gunked up, you can free it up if you very carefully do that procedure. Okay? Now, in terms of the axes, there are 4 wheels on the x-axis and 4 wheels on the y-axis. The 4 on the x-axis, 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. Okay? To clean those wheels, you take your cotton wool bud from before, put it against the wheel and move the head. That'll clean the wheel. Okay? Now, to clean the rails, they need to be cleaned and lubricated. That'll do it. Your fingers will push aside any dirt, and the oil that's in your fingers is enough to lubricate it. Okay? Now the 4 wheels on the y-axis, 2 are on the left and 2 are on the right. Can you see this screw here? If I can just ask you to put your finger down and just in there.
This one?
Yeah. And below it, closer into the machine, and there you go. I'm going to move the head. Can you feel the wheel turning?
Yeah, so...
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just there.
Just underneath, yeah.
Yeah. Okay? So that's where those 4 wheels are. Okay? Right. Now, in terms of the honeycomb bed, or grid bed in your case, to remove it, you need to lower the bed down. You need to make sure to avoid this autofocus probe and this upper limit switch right here. Okay, you see this? That one? Yeah. Or have you already hit that at some point?
No.
Upper limit switch right there. Okay. Right. We're going to loosen off the 2 thumb screws. one in the top right, one in the top left. And the way that you remove this is you move it across the right slightly, tip it forwards and pull it out. Okay, so across the right, tip it forwards and pull it out. Okay? Now this, you can clean this. The best way of doing it is sit it in some vanish oxy action and water, leave it overnight. Clearly, we don't do that. The bed underneath it, can you tell that this was borrowed by a customer? Because we don't usually cut wood. The bed underneath it will get dirty, it will get stained, it'll get black. Just a bit of sif and some elbow grease and a cloth. It's just brushed aluminium when all said and done.
To be honest, I just used water and that's done it.
That'll do it. Depends on how bad the dirt is.
Yeah. It was pretty bad.
Now those two thumb screws are only there to hold it in place. They're not there to hold it down, they're just there to give you an accurate location. Okay? In terms of maintenance of this machine, that's it, we're done. Okay? So we'll move on to maintenance of this machine. The only maintenance you'll ever have to worry about with this is replacement filters. Okay? So, 2 filters in the unit. The bottom filter is known as a pre-filter. That will almost guarantee that will block first, especially if you're doing processed wood. Yeah? The top filter is a combined filter. Now, the top filter's got 2 separate parts to it. There is a HEPA component and an activated carbon component. That HEPA it's your final port of call, essentially. It's your final extraction system. It's 99.997% efficient at 0.3 microns and larger. Okay? It's very sad that I know that, but it's also written on the filter itself.
That does help.
Now, other than that, there's about 15 to 20 kilos of activated carbon. That carbon's only job is to absorb odour. Might get to a point where it's still showing you clean running, but it's starting to smell. All that means is the carbon has become saturated. Okay? At which point, you've got 1 of 3 choices. Choice number 1, nobody really likes it, just put up with it. Choice number 2 is stick a hose on the back and throw it out the window, so whoever's outside has got to put up with it. Choice number 3 is the preferred, is replace that filter. Now,
What's the USB port for on the front?
it's for diagnostics.
Okay.
If there's ever anything wrong with your machine, you can put a USB stick in there, download a log file, get it emailed to us, and we can get it analysed for you.
Okay.
So, when changing these filters, you wear the appropriate PPE as noted on the filters themselves: goggles, mask, gloves, hat, scarf, wellies, whatever. The bottom filter is literally just a pull, comes out. There is no regulation covering the materials inside those filters for disposal. So whatever you are, as long as whatever you're engraving or cutting on the laser would go in general waste, that can go in general waste. Okay? It's a cartridge system. So cartridge comes out, new cartridge comes, goes straight in. Okay? The top filter is a little bit different in that you've got to spin the handle around to drop it down.
And it won't run if they get blocked, will it?
No. If they get blocked, it'll warn you and say, we're blocked, can't work. Okay? So. Right. Maintenance-wise, that's us done. Yay! Let's go into warranties. Now,